Okay. Rachel, thanks for joining me. It's nice to see you.
Yeah.
You look beautiful and radiantly pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, and totally enjoying the process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you a few questions about your experience with Align and Thrive. And it was so
Mhm.
nice having you in the group and in the course. And I remember just listening to you talk, and I was like, wow, you really got it. And you really got what I try to teach beyond just obviously the habits. So,
Mm.
but yeah, before we dive into that, I wanted to ask you, what was your original reason for joining?
Yeah, well, at the time I was quite shy to speak about it because my husband and I were intending to conceive and carry a child for the first time. And being 38 years old, I didn't know how that would work out for my body, or whether that would be something that would be easy or difficult. And I felt like the habits and you could be a combination of some tools and then a support person to help me address and look honestly at whatever it is that might stop me from being able to do that. And that was just my intuition that made me feel like you were the right person to go on that through that process with. And then it was really interesting because, right, I did the little, there's that little free course right before Align and
Mm-hmm.
Thrive. You do like a little introductory thing.
Yeah.
And I think we actually conceived during that little introductory workshop, or at least
Wow.
like right before it. And so
That's
I had that 5-day setup. And so I was just feeling totally amazing and connected. Even just from that already, I felt like, okay,
cool.
just an up leveling of my integrity, not mentally,
Mm,
but just in terms of practice and in terms of looking at my daily schedule, and felt
yeah.
really kind of empowered and unstuck just from knowing that you were there, and knowing that just the name and kind of the overview of the course already sounded to me like it was what I needed. So I think it really just sort of lifted my spirits and made me feel like this is possible. And then began the course, and very soon after being involved in the course, it was confirmed that we were pregnant. And again, I couldn't talk about it with the group
Yeah.
because it felt like it was a little too early to do that.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because then it changed my whole attitude, because instead of the more sort of intense, militaristic, more diligent edge of discipline that I tend to push myself through things with, um, pregnancy just invited me to let go of that whole attitude completely, which ironically actually made space for the habits to be integrated more organically. And instead of it being that I had to do all of them, by the book right away at the times and in the perfect way that I would have maybe if I tried to do that before I was in a pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
sort of mindset, it really gave me permission to connect to them and check in to see what would really be nurturing and serving me on a deep level,
Yeah.
and just move with that integrity rather than trying to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so many of us have those tendencies of perfectionism, of trying
Mm-hmm.
and being really hard on ourselves and militaristic. And I mean, there's definitely some of us that have that tendency, not everyone, but I see
Mm-hmm.
that a lot with my students and probably
Mm-hmm.
because I have a lot of those tendencies as well. And it's so much like a softening and
Mm-hmm.
like such a big part of what I'm trying to teach beyond the
Mm-hmm.
habits is really like this self-nurturing and self-love and self-compassion
Mm-hmm.
and being kind and self-care beyond like what you're just doing, but like
Yeah.
how your relationship with yourself. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so nice that you were in a space that you could really drop into that
Mm-hmm.
and be able to be in that experience with that mindset and that approach.
Mm-hmm. And the gift of the timing of where I was at in my life 6 months ago and what the course was offering was that I was really unified in my intention. Like there wasn't part of me that kind of still wanted to just be like, whatever, who cares? I'm 38, time is ticking. I'm not feeling like
Yeah.
maybe we'll get pregnant next year. I was like, now is the time.
Yeah.
So I want to do everything I can to support that space. And so it helped my thoughts, my emotional life, my, you know, what I'm putting into my body, what I'm doing with my body, who I'm hanging around with, like what I'm reading. It really asked for all of me to be participating. The course asked that of me. And it was good timing because I was at a place where I was actually really unified in my longing for that, in the ripening, like this is the right time for this to happen. And so that made it easy in a way, the unity. And that's something that I struggled with in other decades of my life. Of part of me wanted this, but then the other part kind of just wanted to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how when you're very clear on what you want, and all of you wants that. It's actually amazingly easy to make changes and to do what is necessary. Like, it's like you get out of your own way, and it's like there's less resistance. It's just it's more easeful, and it's awesome. It doesn't have to be so hard. And then, you know, other times people can really struggle with making those changes because there's those, you know, that lack of unity or integration of all parts of yourself being on, you know, on track and aligned with that.
And then it was really helpful, even more helpful than I had thought, to be a part of the calls and the community aspect of it, because I'm quite an introvert and I like one-on-one, and I don't tend to gravitate towards group experiences unless I'm the one that's organizing them, to be honest. So that I'm kind of particular that way. And so, but I thought, okay, step out of your comfort zone and just make yourself available for this experience, and don't decide ahead of time what it's going to be like or what the other people will be or what you'll be like. Just show up and listen and be attentive. And if you have something to say, you can say it. And if you don't, then you don't. And just decided I would try to keep it simple that way. And it was amazing how much I enjoyed it. Like, I actually enjoyed the calls and enjoyed hearing what other people had to say. And it gave me food for thought, and I had something to contribute. And it was a lot less stressful or uncomfortable than I had imagined it would be. I really enjoyed it. And I really found it helpful because during the week, that knowing that time is coming up, you're like, okay, I've got to get these things done. And if I'm going to have something
accountability,
to share, and what am I learning? It would help me reflect on what I was learning more, because I knew I would be talking about it. So instead of kind of being able to push it back, it brought it up and kept me on track and on schedule in terms of not having to do everything, but just having something to share.
And that's such the power of doing this in a community and with a group, and not just kind of like a do it yourself on your own time on your own, because that accountability really works. It really, we all need some sort of accountability to keep us focused and just to keep us engaged in the process, because there's so many distractions, and it's really easy to kind of lose momentum or lose interest. And so what do you feel like were like the biggest results that you got, or what takeaways or changes that you made?
Well, I definitely have been, I mean, it's interesting with pregnancy because you kind of have to eat after dinner again so you don't get nauseous.
Yeah, you can't follow exactly. Yeah,
it's a bit different. But I have been eating my main meal in the evening earlier. And regardless of whether or not I eat later, I haven't been eating a big heavy meal late, and that's been a huge game changer for me. My digestion's changed significantly over the course of the time. My mentor actually recommended, you know, you have your phone mentor, the one person buddy you get, she recommended a book to me, which I read, which, you know, recommended drinking, for a pregnant person, drinking warm milk with turmeric and cardamom before you go to sleep. And that triggered a whole change in my digestive system. My nausea went away, my leg cramps went away, I was sleeping really well. So through the course, indirectly, I got that from one of the other people that was helping me out. And it's just like finding out all the different pieces of the puzzle that could help bring my body into balance. And also I really have been committed with the self-massage with the oil. And for me, like, I had to find out what was the right combination of oils, because the first time that I did it, it wasn't the right combination and my skin was getting rough. So I didn't So I had to kind of find my own combination of it
Yeah.
that really worked for my skin. But now I do that every day and it feels so
Awesome.
good.
Mm.
And yeah, and it just thinking in my mind, being like, okay, how many plants did I eat today?
Yeah.
How much diversity am I getting in my week? And then going to the farmer's market and thinking, okay, I gotta get 3 things I don't normally get. You know, just thinking that way, it just like triggers that. So when I'm at the farmer's market, instead of here's my 4 usuals, it's like, okay, let's just stretch a little and try this, and I'm gonna make this new thing. And
cool.
it gets me in that
That's
great habit. And I'm not perfect with any of it.
Oh,
but
there's no such thing.
But I don't really care. Like that's the
and
part,
you shouldn't, because there isn't.
Yeah, that's the part that I think was so surprising, is I thought it would make me like more regimented and diligent in a kind of strict way.
Yeah.
But it actually has integrated the habits with less intensity and less rigidity.
Good.
And I feel amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. It's so awesome that it's like, it's working. It works.
Yeah. And also another thing is, I'm not an internet person and I'm not a social media person.
Right.
And I kind of shy away from these kind of things like online programs, because I like one-on-one contact and I like real people, and I want the person who I'm working with to be living in accordance with what they're teaching, and that's what inspires me. And because I think I could have that personal contact with you coming to your yoga classes, it helped me realize that you weren't just some person who was pretending to be something, that you actually are living what it is that you're talking about in a really real and humble way. And that connected to me because I like real people, and that helped me to be able to engage in this and have it not feel superficial or businessy or kind of strange. It feels really real, and I feel connected to you, and I really felt your support on all levels through the process, and that made a big difference.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really do try to be an example, and it's transformed my life so much that I'm so passionate about sharing it, and I love it when I see it like that, it come across, and then other people taking away these nuggets and living in that way that's more easeful and more integrated and more nurturing. And so, yeah, I'm so glad to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else, any last things that you'd like to share or add?
Yeah, well, it's the real deal. You know, there's a lot of things that say, there's a lot of like, get enlightenment in one weekend, or make more money now after you read this 3-page thing. Like it's a lot of that stuff that's has time limits on it, I think is really inaccurate and really unfair to advertise. And it breaks my heart when I see people chasing after shortcuts. And I would not say that this is a shortcut in a cheating kind of a way, but it's just some information that is really sound, and it's really practically helpful, and it's a structure that makes it really hard to fail. You know, and it might not be that you get all of it, but it's really hard to not get something out of it that's really significant. And if somebody's really ready to make changes, not because someone else said they should or because they're trying to be a good person, but if they're really at that place that they feel like I did, like there's some piece of the puzzle here that I'm missing, some information that I don't have, and maybe a structure that can support me in making these changes, that for me it was a really amazing fit, because that's what I was looking for.
Awesome.
So
It's true. Change takes time, but when you have the guidance and the structure and the accountability and the support, it is more efficient. It is more fun, and it's more effective, I found. So thank you
so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being part of the community and adding so much yourself. So I can't wait to see your little Ayurveda baby, and you can share all these awesome ways of living with your baby. Your parenthood, which is so important. So
I feel like that's also something I kept thinking of, is like, wow, I want to teach my child how they can create their own habits and establish so much of this as just part of the ordinary schedule of a day. This is just how a day goes. so they can
Exactly.
learn some of that stuff just as foundational. I feel
Mhm.
really thankful that I received this
Yeah.
before moving into this whole new world of being.
Awesome. Yay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So good to see you, and I can't wait to see
Yeah.
you in the flash soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thanks so much, Lena.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.